everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to share a little Valentine's recipe, and this was inspired from my trip to New Orleans last year. So I went to this cafe, I think it's called Market Cafe, and they served a really delicious piece of bread pudding, and it had a whiskey sauce. So I'm going to share the recipe on how to make this bread pudding. So if you want to see how I do it, keep watching, and happy Valentine's to everyone celebrating.
The food in New Orleans is inspired by the French, African, and Spanish settlers in the area. They made New Orleans the go-to destination for foodie lovers. While visiting New Orleans a couple months ago, I visited the Market Cafe in the French Quarter, and I had the most amazingly delicious piece of bread pudding with rum sauce, and I was hooked. So stay tuned as I share my take on this traditional New Orleans bread pudding recipe with a whiskey sauce. You'll need some day-old French bread, and all you want to do is slice it up and cut it or break it up into smaller cubes. Whisk 5 eggs together until everything's combined. Then add some sugar and whisk that until the sugar is dissolved. Then go in with some heavy cream, some whole milk or any type of milk you use, and just whisk everything together. Next, go in with some ground cinnamon, some vanilla extract, my little kick, some Angostura bitters, and some freshly grated nutmeg. And lastly, just add a little pinch of salt to bring out all the flavors that we added. Now whisk everything until it's evenly combined. All you do now is add that custard mixture over your bread cubes, making sure that each cube is immersed in that liquid because you want it to soak up everything. Now let this sit for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then we'll come back and assemble our bread pudding. After an hour, your bread should have soaked up that nice custard mixture that we added to it, and it should be really nice and soggy. So I like a smoother bread pudding, so I'm just going to take my spoon and mash the bread until it's nice and smooth. It's okay if there's a few big pieces, but you just want a nice smooth mixture overall. Once you're happy with the bread pudding mixture, now add it to your dish, and I've added mine to a water bath, so it has more of a custard-like texture. And I'm going to cover it and bake it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. And then I'll take the cover off and bake it for a further 15 minutes. To make the rum sauce, I've added some sugar and some butter to a pot, and I'm just going to let it melt completely. After the butter and sugar are melted, go ahead and add in your Bourbon Whiskey and give that a stir. And add about 2 dashes of that Angostura bitters just to give it a nice little extra flavor. And to just thicken up the sauce a little bit to get that nice syrupy texture, I just added a 1/4 teaspoon of cornstarch. You can add a little bit of corn syrup in place of the cornstarch if you want. After the bread pudding is finished baking, make sure you stick a knife to make sure it comes out clean. And you want that nice golden brown color at the top. Let it cool down for about 15 minutes, and then go ahead and brush that rum sauce over the top. I'm just using about half of the rum sauce, and I'm going to save the next half to actually serve the slices of bread pudding.
That is really delicious, and the rum sauce actually kicks it up a notch.
Bread pudding is usually served warm, but when you let it cool completely, all those sugars settle and you get the real flavor out of it. As mentioned earlier, I like a smooth custard-like bread pudding. So if you wanted to make it crumbly, then you can do so. You don't have to mash up those bread pieces so that you get a more rough bread pudding. So this is my take on a classic New Orleans bread pudding. It comes close to the one I had at the Market Cafe, but I still think that one was the best. Everything tastes much better in New Orleans. So thank you so much for watching the recipe. I hope you all have an amazing Valentine's Day, whatever you plan to do. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit that bell next to it so you stay updated with everything. And as always, I love reading all your comments. Let me know if you visited New Orleans and where you had the best bread pudding. Until I see you all again in my next video, bye and happy Valentine's to everyone.